Trustee Kukler,
Here.
Trustee McCarty,
Here.
President Livingston.
Here, and with that, we do have a quorum. Would you please stand for the pledge?
I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Couple things to report under item 2 on our agenda this evening. We've got some appointments and reappointments to our village boards and commissions. We'll be asking the board to consider in a moment. And we have the pleasure of administering the oath of office to our new fire chief here in LaGrange, Terry Favre. We have our next meeting is scheduled for July 8th here at the Village Hall, and then we will probably not meet the following 2 weeks, and we'll talk about that more in terms of the schedule next time. Video poker. As you know, at our last meeting, we sort of ripped off the Band-Aid and started to say that we might consider video poker. We're somewhat on a slower schedule on that, in that we will put that to our Community and Economic Development Commission in August to determine the different kinds of issues that would come along with that, to ask us questions and to take community input. And then if we were to take that to a vote, it would be at the early meeting in September. But there's still a lot of research to be done and listening to be done. And of course, that's always a good thing when we can hear from different opinions and feelings about that. So with that, we're going to move to item A, which is the appointments and reappointments to the advisory boards and commissions. And you've got a group here that represents different parts of the village, different levels of experience. We had quite a few at our last meeting, and we'll have a few more at our next meeting, and that will complete our run for the year largely. We have submitted for your consideration, board, Paul Kirpan to the Board of Fire, from the Board and Fire Police Commission to the Zoning Board of Appeals. He has served on the Board and Fire Police Commission for 6 years, and upon it being asked, he's indicated his willingness to serve as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term to expire in 2023. And I believe I see Paul here. Paul, would you raise your hand? There you are. Thank you very much. We also have a new appointee to the Police and Fire Commission, Tom Lovato, and he has also served on the Zoning Board and has indicated his willingness to serve on this board. It was one he expressed interest on early on. We didn't have room for him, but he's excited to serve, and his term will expire in the year 2021. We're also submitting the reappointment of Peter O'Connor to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Mr. O'Connor has served the ZBA since 2009 and indicated a willingness to continue. His term expires in 2024, and we really do appreciate his ongoing service to the village on the ZBA. So to the board, if I could seek a motion for these appointments to our boards and commissions.
I move that we accept the nominees as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Holder. Trustee Gale. It's been moved and seconded, or Trustee McCarty. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposition? The appointments are approved, and thank you very much. All right, the next item of business is a real milestone. It's something we don't see happen that often, and that is the appointment and oath of office for Terrence Vavra as our new fire chief. In February, Fire Chief Don Gay announced his retirement on May 31st, 2019, after over 30 years of service. As a result, the village board conducted a public search process. 6 individuals were selected to participate in a professional assessment center and evaluation process involving an expert panel, along with Trustee Kukler from the village board. So thank you, Trustee Kukler, and our outstanding staff. And while all the finalists were highly qualified and would have been an asset to the village and the fire department, it was determined that Chief Terrence Vavra would best meet the village's needs. Chief Vavra possesses outstanding qualifications with significant experience in training and modern fire principles. He is committed to staff development, community engagement, and building upon the positive reputation that the LaGrange Fire Department has within the village and the state. Chief Vavra was most recently the fire chief of Norwood Park and previously served in leadership positions in Buffalo Grove and Lisle Woodridge. Chief Vavra has a master's degree in management and organization behavior from Benedictine University and a Bachelor of Arts degree from Western Illinois University, a number of Illinois Fire Marshal certifications, including Chief Fire Officer, and is a member of the International Association of Fire Chiefs and Illinois Fire Chiefs Association. Pursuant to the village code, the fire chief is appointed by the village president and the village board on the recommendation of the village manager. I would request a motion for approval for the appointment of Terrence Vavra as fire chief.
I move that we accept this appointment for the new fire chief.
I'll second.
Second.
All right, thank you, Trustee Holder and Kukler and Augustine. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, congratulations. Well, may I ask our new chief to come up with his family, and I would appreciate also if the members of our fire department come up here and we'll administer the oath of office all together here. And our clerk is absent, so I'm going to fill in for him, which is a poor substitute, but I'll do my best.
He's going to turn around that way. And then you can look at it. Tell him he's going to be looking at that camera.
Seen a few of these.
The kingmaker. Oh, great. Now we're on camera.
Yes. Yes, it does.
All right. Chief, please raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Terrence Vavra,
Having been appointed to the office of fire chief
having been appointed to the office of fire chief
in the village of LaGrange in the county of Cook,
in the village of LaGrange, in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
and that I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of fire chief
the duties of office of fire chief
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. And Chief, when you're done, if you want to introduce your family here, we'd be happy for that as well.
So this is my wife of 38 years, Chris, my youngest daughter, Kimberly, my granddaughter, Abby, my mother-in-law, Wave, my son-in-law, Tim, and I forgot your name. That's Charlotte. And my daughter, Jen, is caught up in traffic. I didn't know they had traffic in LaGrange. We should not allow it. But we are, as a group, extremely excited to be here and to be a part of this fine community. I have never been welcomed like this from a fire department, so I'm excited to work with these fine gentlemen and this great board. I don't know what to tell you. You said you're lucky. I'm 10 times more. This is a great opportunity for me, and I'm very excited to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Welcome. To our department leaders, thank you all year. We appreciate it.
Sorry.
Again.
Congrats, that's awesome.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
All right, at this point, we're going to go ahead and advance to the manager's report. Andre.
Thank you, President Livingston. Work removing the existing public parking lot at Madison and Harris, Lot 8, including the asphalt surface and subgrade, began this week. Work also continued at the parking lot on Harris and 6th Avenues. Both parking lot projects continue to be on schedule with an anticipated completion at the end of July. Alternative parking areas are available, and a free temporary valet station at Harris and Madison Avenues is being provided, along with 2 other free valet stations on Friday and Saturday evenings. More information regarding parking during the work is available on the village's website and social media. As IDOT completes the final surface course on Grange Road, south of 47th Street, they have agreed to wait to begin milling operations on Grange Road until after the craft fair. The work is expected to begin the week of July 15th and take approximately 2 months to complete. MI Homes has indicated that they will be ready to begin conducting mass grading of the former Masonic home site the week of June 24th in order to build 12 single-family homes and 58 townhomes. Grading work is estimated to be completed at the end of July. Installation of the underground utilities are scheduled to begin the week of July 8th and conclude in mid-August. Paving of the roads within the subdivision are tentatively scheduled to begin at the end of July and be completed by September. MI Homes is distributing notices to surrounding residents, notifying them of the upcoming construction activities and schedule. All construction traffic will enter via Bluff Avenue. Finally, the Village Hall will be closed on Thursday, July 4th in observance of the Independence Day holiday. Normal business hours will resume on Friday, July 5th, and a full complement of emergency response personnel will be available throughout the holiday. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andre. And I looked up and I see former village president Tim Hansen, Liz Asperger, and trustee Mark Langen. We always welcome you here. Whenever we find former trustees or village presidents, we always call them out. And a lot of what we do here, we stand on their shoulders in terms of the vibrancy of LaGrange. So we're glad to see them. With that, Madam Clerk, will you please read the items on the consent agenda?
Thank you, President Livingston. Item A, ordinance, plat of re-subdivision for 4 Cali View Drive, Douglas Brown. Item B, minutes of the Village of LaGrange Board of Trustees regular meeting, Monday, June 10th, 2019. Item C, consolidated voucher 190624.
Thank you, Andre. And we have no items under current business this evening. Item 4, regarding public comments on items that are on our agenda this evening. Seeing none. Consideration of our consent agenda.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Holder. Trustee McCarty, any questions or comments on the motion?
I have one.
Trustee Holder.
Charity. I thought everything south of the country club was zoned R5. Am I incorrect? Or, oh, sorry. Lou likes to keep all the mics to himself over there.
This property at 4 Cali View is zoned R1, single family.
Are the ones around it zoned?
Yes, all the properties there on Cali View
How did,
are similarly zoned.
any idea how one got zoned R1 in the middle of all the R5s?
No, it's not just the one lot, though. The lots around it are also R1. I don't know the
They are,
history of it,
okay.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Holder. Any other questions or comments?
I just wanted to say that as I've previously stated, I recuse myself from voting items on voucher related to the village prosecutor.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Other questions or comments on the motion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee Holder?
Aye?
Trustee Kukler?
Aye.
Trustee McCarty?
Aye.
And with that, the motion passes. We have no items under item 6. Item 7, public comments regarding matters not on our agenda this evening.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. My name is Tim Sheldon. I'm coming to you tonight because, one, I want to thank you. Last meeting, you engaged in a brief discussion about bringing video poker to LaGrange, and I want to specifically thank Trustee Kukler, who engaged online through the Nextdoor app. I did a informal poll just to sort of see where the community was, and we had, over the course of a week, 155 respondents, and I just wanted to report to you the results. It's certainly not a scientific poll, but it is maybe a good point of discussion as you consider that. It was 88% against and 12% in favor. And people on the poll asked that I bring that information to you, and I just wanted to rise tonight to make sure that you were aware of that information.
We definitely appreciate that, Tim. Thank you for taking the time to tell us about that.
Can I ask a question while you're there?
Yes.
Excuse my ignorance, but I'm not familiar with this app. Is it, who's on there? Is it like Facebook, where everybody who's in favor of something happens to be always using that page, or is it
No,
something
it's
else?
members of the community at large. And so typically what you have on there is people say, hey, I'm looking for a really good person who's a plumber that's inexpensive, and the neighborhood will share their expertise of what they have.
So it's not a
Or-
single purpose app?
No, not at all.
It's
It's
a
like
community
lost
app.
dogs and, you
Cool.
know, that kind of thing. Like this block party is happening, so it's very generic and just general.
Guess I should get on that.
Yes.
Thank you
would
very
highly
much.
recommend it.
coyote warnings usually.
Right, a lot of coyote warnings, yes. Yes.
Great. Thank you very much.
I should.
Good evening, members of the board and staff.
Evening.
I'm Tim Hansen. I live at 74 South 7th Avenue, as I have for a long time, and even longer than the last time I was here to speak. Ripping the Band-Aid off is a really apt description, Mr. President. And I looked with some fear, quite honestly, and beg your caution in expanding gambling of any kind to the village of LaGrange, video gambling or otherwise. There are enough Bonnies and Debbies and Bettys and the rest out there. There's no lack of venues. But I also wanted to talk about when the village of LaGrange began to revitalize itself in the 80s. It's my opinion that it did so because it sort of discovered the values of quality and class. And people discovered the quality and class of old Victorians and didn't need to make extra money by making them into apartments. And they discovered the quality and class of our schools and our downtown, and we took off crappy-looking facades and facilitated the restoration of the quality and class. I submit to you that video gambling doesn't fall into that category. We, boards, one after another, have avoided the traps of lost the word. I can't believe it. They've avoided the traps of those god-awful cameras that steal money from people at intersections because of some money issue. We've avoided having pawnbrokers in our town. We've avoided having saloons in our town because people thought about the quality and class that our community becomes so vibrant with. It's one of the things that distinguishes us from many of our neighbors. And I urge you to go extraordinarily slow. I urge you to say no, quite frankly. I will tell you there's an establishment in one of our neighboring communities that over the last year put in a little corner where the guys sit and play poker or whatever they do. And I don't go there anymore. I don't need to go to that place to get that service. I can go elsewhere. And I don't want my granddaughters to go to a gambling place to get their favorite chicken strips and French fries. I hope you will go extraordinarily slow and remember the quality and class that the village of LaGrange represents. Thanks.
Thank you, former president.
Good evening, Mr. President and members of the board. It's delightful to follow a former president of the village and to be here tonight to say basically, I agree with Mr. Hansen, and I share his concerns with respect to the potential for video gaming to come into LaGrange. Quality and class is the perfect description. I probably would have used the word character. LaGrange has a unique character, and we can distinguish ourselves from our neighbors. With all due respect to them, they have their unique and very important and positive qualities as well. LaGrange, though, has received, let's say, a lot of accolades in the last few years. Best suburban downtown, the envy of the western suburbs, and the like. Residents, people from all of our neighboring communities, from the city, from Naperville, come to our downtown, love to enjoy our restaurants, their diversity, their offerings, and really their family-friendly appeal. Their ambiance is one that they're all different, but they speak for themselves in being places where families and friends gather to enjoy one another's company, in addition to the great food and the customer service that's offered throughout our community and our restaurants. Video gambling's not a necessity. Is it an economic opportunity for some of our business owners? Absolutely. But at what cost to our character, to the character of our community, the character of our downtown, and the desire of our families in LaGrange and elsewhere to come downtown to support us, to send their teens up for pizza or coffee or frozen yogurt, to be comfortable that they can enjoy the character, the ambiance, and all of the goodness that LaGrange has become the way we enjoy it today. So I also would urge caution, and I would also support a negative vote. But I do appreciate your bringing it forward for discussion. I appreciate the fact that when someone asks, the board is willing to listen, to explore, and to discuss. That's what good governance is, and you evidence your desire to do that and to have that good discussion. Have it, move slowly. I'm glad that you're moving slowly. I'm glad that you're going to wait till after the summer, because I'm afraid that many of us in LaGrange like to enjoy our summer sun and not pay as much attention maybe to the business issues of the village as we might otherwise. So consider it, and please hear the voice of so many of us that hope that you will maintain the character of the village as we enjoy it today. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Good evening, Mark Langen, 601 9th Avenue, longtime resident of LaGrange. I want to piggyback on what Presidents Hansen and Asperger had to say. You know, I was very pleased that, Tom, that you made the announcement at the last meeting and the board had a discussion about this topic. It's been floating around, and I know that good governance starts with open conversation and debating the issues. I also am not in favor of this particular item. I don't think video gaming helps us. LaGrange is a vibrant, family-oriented walking community. I don't see how video gambling works in that scenario. I did something today. I went online and I looked up the list of communities that have it. And I thought the interesting part about it was the list of communities that don't have video gaming. You know, LaGrange, we've always prided ourselves on being regional leaders and thought leaders in various ways throughout the state. The development here in the 80s with the TIF, our zoning code, a lot of the things that we do, we move forward very well. And I encourage you to continue that type of behavior and demonstrate leadership here and not fall prey to the state of Illinois' quick fix plan of using gambling to balance budgets that they haven't had the leadership and the guts to fix. So I thank you for listening, and I also would not be in favor of any video gaming. The other thing I did want to mention, I think in the conversation they talked about 15 organizations or businesses in town might be interested. If those are all restaurants, I think we only have 30 restaurants. I don't know that half the restaurants having video gaming is a positive for the village of LaGrange. So I would like to keep LaGrange vibrant and family-oriented, and again, I oppose the video gaming conversation, but I'm glad you're having the conversation.
Thank you, Trustee Langen. Any other comments? Well, we do appreciate the feedback, and we're listening, and we'll continue to be transparent in terms of when these topics come up. And at 8 o'clock, we're going to discuss the legalization of marijuana. Just kidding. All right. Me too. Let's see. We are done with item 7. Item 8, trustee comments. Any trustee comments this evening? Trustee McCarty.
Thank you, President Livingston, and thanks particularly to our esteemed former presidents and trustee. Your comments carry considerable weight, and it's great to hear them. The thing I've heard most regarding the video gaming is the concept of revenue, and I think, at least for me, that's the farthest thing in it. It has nothing to do with revenue. But also faith, have faith that this community that has, as former trustee Langen mentioned, gone through so many, been leaders in so many ways, that we might be able to find some solutions that would make people happy, including the restaurateurs. And I don't know if that's out there, but I'm keeping an open mind.
Right. Other questions or comments? All right, very good. We have no items under closed session. With that, I would seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned until July 8th, 7:30. Thank you.